Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Solo from the Cluster Alpha Born, and this is my take on official versus unofficial. Now I see it all the time on social media that the official guys basically look down their noses at unofficial, and you hear things like Daddy Bob and other things to basically explain that we are less than, or we're not as good as official players. So I just wanted to make a video about the pros and cons of both sides, because being someone who spent 3.5 years on official back when it was in beta stage and before they turned it to legacy, we was actually the tribe Relentless on Xbox. So we're the original Xbox Relentless tribe. So you wouldn't be able to say that I don't really know official that well, because I spent quite a long time on it, and we've now actually been on dedicated for about a year and a half, touching 2 years maybe. So I personally believe I have a good grasp on both sides of it. So here's just some general points that I believe everyone's either not considering or everyone's forgetting about when there's a debate between official and unofficial. So the first thing you typically hear in any online debate is, why play unofficial? Why play the game in a way it was not intended to be? Rates are too fast, and it's just you're taking all the grind out, taking all the fun out. So the first thing I'm going to mention, while you're on official, it's now, well, it's technically now it's 2 times everything. It originally was 1 time everything. If you're starting the games today, you're going to find it an easier version than we tried it with. But what I would like everyone to remember is, whatever server you're playing on, you and your tribe are playing against other tribes with the exact same settings, and that is where the competition is. You know what you can do 1 times or what you can do with 2 times. Now, if your tribe is successful on official, try to imagine what could you really get done if you had 5 times, 10 times, 50 times. And that's where the actual question comes in, and that's why a lot of players leave official and come on to non-official. So the grind itself is still there, but where on official you raise, say, a giga for 2 weeks, at one point you had to do imprints every 4 hours for 2 weeks straight, and then I believe it was changed to every 8 hours. On unofficial, you can raise a giga depending on your server settings, but it could take 2 hours or it could take 2 days. That's a big difference from 2 weeks. But again, you're against other tribes who can also hatch gigas and have them raised in that time frame. So it's not just, oh, I've left official, I'm going to have everything in day one. Because if I'm on a server that's so fast I can get everything done in day one, I'm also against another 20 tribes who can also get everything done in day one. So there's a lot more competition actually on non-official. On official, if you build correctly and you build well and you're hidden and don't stand out from the crowd too much, you can be left alone for a couple of weeks and you can get to a good level. But the work you do in that couple of weeks on a non-official, you can literally get done in 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, depending on how boosted you're looking for. I personally don't like the 50 times servers because you've got the lag that goes crazy, you've got instant XP. Some servers on non-official, you're right, they are extremely boosted and they do take the fun out of it. But the ones that are balanced, or the ones that still rely on a bit of a grind, and even with you know sped up breeding, you still, within 1 week you still don't have everything. So for them ones, you're basically playing the same type of long-term game style as you are on official. Yes, you're not planning for 6 months of grind. You're planning for, say, 2 weeks of grind. But when it comes down to it, because whatever server you're on, the other tribes have the exact same settings to play against, you really do get to see who is the better tribe, who has the better knowledge, and who has the better information, and who can do things faster. And that's why official, if you did play on official and you lasted 6 months, 8 months, a year, yes, you would have the biggest sense of achievement, because it's 1 or 2 times and it's literally taking days upon days to do everything. And even taming the dinos, you're stood there for 2, 3, 4 hours just waiting for one dino. So yes, the end goal there, you do feel a much bigger achievement, but if you prefer raiding, if you prefer PvP, if you prefer breeding without 2 week time frame, non-official actually provides that for you. It does not mean you have less skill. It just means that you're not willing to, say, stand around for 4 hours to tame a stego or whatever. You can get that done in 20 minutes, and it means you can actually get off the bob stage and get to the point in Ark that you personally enjoy the most at a much faster rate. Instead of it taking you 2 months to feel somewhat safe that you can stand around breeding all day, you can do that in 2 days on non-official. So that is one of the biggest points, is that it's all about time frame, but it's not we're less than or we're weaker or anything like that. It's very simply, I personally don't like the bob stage. I hate it. When I spawn into a beach for the first time, I want to just turn it off right there and then. So by going to non-official, I'm able to spawn at a beach, and within 10 minutes I could be a level 30. Some servers you're automatically a level 105, and it's just you've got to find the right non-official server for you. And a few more points to just very quickly touch upon. So again, I mentioned the breeding earlier. Because dinos take less time breeding, we can actually make mistakes that you don't want to make on official. So for example, say against Stego, Trikes, they're all quite fast on official, but on non-official they can actually be done in 20 minutes a day at the most. You know, a day is quite slow on non-official for them type of dinos. So if I take them into a raid and they all get killed, it really doesn't matter, because in 2 hours time, 5 hours time, I'm going to have them back again. So that means I can be a lot more daring and a lot more irresponsible and suicidal if I wanted to be. And it's not such a consequence. But on top of that, like I said, I can also experiment more with my raiding tactics, my raiding styles. I can see, you know, what can I do with more speed? What can I do with more health? How much easier is it to rocket run? And then my final point that I just want to make as well is devs versus admins. So on official, you really are on your own. There is no one holding your hand. There is no babysitter. If you fall through the mesh, tough. If your dino just disappears, tough. And yeah, you can put a ticket in, but I've known people just claim it's taken 3 months, 4 months to even get a response. On non-official, if you fall through the mesh, you can talk to the admin or the owner, depending on how big the team is on the server you're on. If you are being bullied to the point where, let's say, it's unfair, again, you can call upon an admin. An admin can come and help. It might take 10 minutes for an admin to get in touch, or it might take an hour, but it definitely will not take 3 months. That, of course, all depends as well on if you're playing on a non-official server that, one, has admins, but 2, has active admins, okay? Because that's the other thing. If you're on a server with inactive admins, then yeah, one of these things happen to you. There's no one there to help. But if you are looking for a game or game style where you actually could have some type of support if you actually needed it, non-official is definitely a lot better. There's owners of clusters out there that have actually put a lot of time into finding the right type of people to be admins for them, and these particular type of admins, they want to see the cluster grow. And these are the ones, like I said, if you fall through the mesh, they'll come and help. If you randomly lose stuff, they will try and help if they can. If you're being bullied, or if you need someone to police for you, they will come in and they will see what they can do. And that is something you just don't get on official. Plain and simple.